This is a video for how to go about creating a fully dimensioned part drawing of number 1 in your 20 ISOs project. You'll notice in my project browser on the left hand side I have all 20 of my ISOs done, and I have our title block that we created from a previous video. You don't have to have all 20 of these made in order to create the drawing today. You only have to have the first one completed for this video. So notice that I already have the first one completed and I have it open, and I double clicked on my number 1 over here and it's open within my window. I'm going to go to Design, I'm going to go to Drawing, and I'm going to go to From Design. On the right hand side, you might see From Scratch right here. You need to click on this and come down to PLTW title block. From a previous video, we created a title block, and you'll see the benefits of having that title block once I say OK. So once I say OK, you're going to notice that automatically it's going to pull information from that part and place it along the bottom. You can see my name, you can see the name of the project, you can see the name of the part. The only thing we don't really have right here is scale, and I'm going to go up to 1 to 5, and I'm going to change that to 1/3. And I'm going to go ahead and just place my front view. Once you've placed your front view, you can say OK. We're going to go up to projected views. Tap on my front view, and I'm going to drag up, and I'm going to click to place my top view, click to place my side view, click to place my isometric view. Right click and say OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the blue line of our isometric view. I'm going to double click on that, and you're going to notice we get the appearance box show up. And you can keep a lot of the visible edges or hidden lines and stuff, but we're going to go to shaded here. Now notice we can also change the scale if it's too big or too small. Fusion 360 gives you a ton of options as far as scale goes, but we're just going to keep everything the way it is and just say close for now. If by chance you want to move your ISO, you can tap on the outside box and you can click on the gray square in the middle and move it around. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go up and we're going to go to Save. It's important that you save early and you save often. You can have it set up to auto save, but especially once you start a drawing, just make sure you click save a little early. So notice how it says, number 1-20 ISOs drawing. That's what I created over here. We want to just keep this the way it is, because once I say save and it's reading from the name of the part, it's going to put that drawing right next to the part. It's super convenient. So one of the nice things about Fusion 360, whereas like before in Inventor, you were, in something where you couldn't really see the drawings and see stuff like right next to each other, you can see things very clearly over here in your project browser. It's really nice. So now we're going to go ahead and start dimensioning our object. And we're going to, if you click on the word dimensions up here at the top, you're going to see a lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same things you would see in like Autodesk Inventor, but we're just going to click on dimension for now. And we want the full width of the object. Now I can come down here and click from left to right down here, or I can also just go ahead and click from here to here. And you're going to notice at first, you're like, I don't like the fact that it's giving me this diagonal line. While you're dragging out, you can just right click and go down to horizontal and drag up. And notice you're going to get these nice convenient snaps when you do that. Now, I know that within this object, I have 3 distances that I'm going to place from baseline to here and from baseline to here. Now, we could go in and just use the dimensioning tool right here and do that, but I want to show you how to do baseline dimensioning within Fusion 360. In order to do baseline dimensioning, you have to have a base dimension to start from. So if I go to dimensions and I go to baseline, I have to select our long dimension here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, from, one side to the other. So it looks like when I went to baseline dimensioning, I probably want to select from this side and drag over. I select a little bit closer to this side. Fusion 360 sees which side you're going to. So I'm going to go ahead and just click from that baseline into each spot. Once I'm done with that, I can right click and say OK. What you will have to do is to drag these in closer to the front of the object. So once we're in here, we can kind of drag these down, snap them into place, because you want to leave your longest dimension further out from the object. So notice that I have 9, 7, and 3 here. You always want your longest dimension to be further away. You can move these around, drag them as you wish. So that is how to do baseline dimensioning in Fusion 360. Now for the depth, we're going to go ahead and use our side view, and I'm just going to click on the dimension button for this because it's also super convenient just to stay with just that dimension button. Baseline dimensioning is good if you have a lot of dimensions. We didn't have a ton of dimensions over here in our front view, so you can make a strong argument that it's just easier to use this. Next thing, we'll do the height in our side view as well, because we don't want to cross dimension lines in our front view. Notice that if I just leave my mouse on top of a line, Fusion gives me a little bit of a preview, and I can just click, drag, and place, right click, and say OK. And notice that automatically it's going to give me that little bit of a, not a little bit, it's going to be an exact representation of what it'll look like once I click. Let's click on fit down here. I need to right click and get out of this real quick. Let's click on fit down here at the bottom. It doesn't want to let me move things. Let's click on fit. Good. So now it's actually fit the drawing to the screen. If we need to move this around, looks like maybe I want to move this a little bit up in the top right. I can move this object around as I wish. I have a fully dimensioned drawing. Down here at the bottom, if I wanted to create a file that had 20 drawings of each one of these in and just have one file, I can click on plus down here at the bottom, and it's going to automatically keep adding drawings to one of these drawing files. I personally don't want to do that within my classes, so I'm going to right click and go to delete sheet. If you need to export, you can go to output a PDF, and it's going to automatically place your name and everything down here at the bottom, and you can turn that in or have an easy way to print and get your object to somebody else that might not be using Fusion 360. So this is a video on how to go about creating a fully dimensioned drawing for part 1 in your 20 ISOs project.